Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Commander's Crypt, coming to you live from New Orleans, Louisiana. Very hot here. Very hot New Orleans, Louisiana. Today, we've got a hot video for you. We're going to talk about more cards that synergize with Captain Gathrod that nobody is talking about. We're going to talk first about the Cataran mercenaries from Mercadian block. You've got 6 of them. Well, there's more of them, but 6 of them are horrors that are going to be good for Captain Gathrod. There's the Wrathy Intimidator, Cataran Overlord, Cataran Slayer, Wrathy Fiend, and Cataran Enforcer. The cool thing about these cards is they are horrors. They have, a good many of them have evasion, and they are then able to tutor up at instant speed and put into play their brethren, their Cataran brethren, right into play. For example, Wrathy Fiend, he's 1 black and 3. When Wrathy Fiends comes into play, each player loses 3 life. Well, then it says 3, tap them, search your library for a mercenary card with converted mana cost 3 or less, and put that card into play. Shuffle your library. That will allow you to get the Wrathy Intimidator. And Wrathy Intimidator is a horror with 2/1 and fear. So he's got evasion. And what this means is, if you're playing Captain Gathrod and you're low on cards, this allows you to populate your board faster. Captain Gathrod is basically a creature deck. And if you put all your creatures out and you're swinging and you're hell-bent or have less cards, these cards allow you to tutor up for more creatures to swing in there faster for the win. After the Wrathy Intimidator and the Wrathy Fiend, there is the Catarain Enforcer, 2 black and 3. He can't be blocked except by artifact creatures and black creatures. Again, we have a guy with fear that will be able to get in and mill your opponent with Captain Gathrod. But then he says, 4, tap them, search your library for a mercenary card with converted mana cost 4 or less, and put that card into play. So once you get one of these, and if you get one of the bigger Catarans in, you're then able to just go down the line and tutor for them every turn. You could then, with that, get the Wrathy Fiend or the Wrathy Intimidator. And then there is the Cataran Slaver, who's 2 black and 4. And this guy was always one of my favorite artists, Karl Krichklau. But Cataran Slaver says 2 black and 4. It's a 5/5 creature with Swamp Walk. So now you've got a guy that can get in no problem if that opponent has Swamp Walk. And with Captain Gathrod, you can then mill 5 or more cards per turn. But then he also says 5, tap them, search your library for a mana cost 5 or less, and put that card into play. Shuffle your library. This is at instant speed. So you can get those, the last 2 cards that I talked about. There's also the Cataram Brute. He is 1 black and 2. He has a CMC of 3. And he works well with those guys. And then you've got the Cataran Overlord. This guy's not too bad. 3 black and 4. Sacrifice a creature, regenerate Cataran Overlord. He's a 7/5 for 7 mana, which is pretty good. He says 6, tap, search your library for a mercenary card with cost 6 or less, and put that card into play. Then shuffle your library. So these guys work really well together. More cards that work well with Captain Gathrod that nobody is talking about would be Mind Slicer, 2 black and 2. He's 4/3. He's a horror. When Mind Slicer is put into a graveyard from play, each player discards his or her hand. So what happens with this is, like I said, Captain Gathrod is a creature deck, like 40 creatures or more. So once you play all of those, and if you're just, drawing lands, drawing dead, what this does is you put this out and nobody wants to attack you now because you'll just block and blow up everybody's hands, and everybody will be at 0 cards in their hands. So Mind Slicer, another fantastic card to put in Captain Gathrod. Another card just came out, Intellect Devourer, 1 black and 3. Devour Intellect. When Intellect Devourer enters the battlefield, each opponent exiles a card from their hand until Intellect Devourer leaves the battlefield. Then you may play cards and cast spells from among those cards exiled with Intellect Devourer. If you cast a spell this way, you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast it. Another fantastic card to put in Captain Gathrod. And one more card that nobody's talking about would be Thing in the Ice. 1 blue and 1. He's a horror defender. Thing in the Ice enters the battlefield with 4 ice counters on it. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, remove an ice counter from Thing in the Ice. Then if it has no ice counters on it, transform it. Now, the good thing about this is when it transforms, it comes out as a 7/8 horror, and all non-horrors are bounced back to their owner's hands. So that's very strong. The precon is low on instants and sorceries. So in order to do this build, that would be predicated on whether you were running more instants and sorceries. So that's another fantastic card that you could put in there. And then what we could do with Captain Gathrod is do loops. Get some cheap tutors like Profane Tutor, Mausoleum Secrets, Diabolic Tutor, and you can tutor for whatever you need and get your pieces for a combo that loops with Altar of Dementia. Altar of Dementia is already doing what you're doing. You're milling your opponent's decks with either Mind Cranks or with the horrors. So with Altar of Dementia, if you're pumping out tokens and you want to continue to mill your opponent's graveyards and then take the best things out with Captain Gathrod, you're going to put an Altar of Dementia in there. It works well in a few ways. Let's say you're popping tokens out. You can engage the Altar of Dementia to continue doing what you're doing. Or if there's a board wipe and you're going to lose all your creatures anyway, you could sacrifice them all to Altar Dementia. Or if somebody zaps one of your creatures with an instant, you can sacrifice it to Altar and that spell will fizzle. And then what you can do is you can run loops with some of these cards. With Altar Dementia, Reassembling Skeleton, Pitiless Plunderer, and Pawn of Ulamog, you can win the game. You just mill out your opponents. If they can't stop the loop, then that's that. Same thing with Nether Trader, Pawn of Ulamog, and Pitiless Plunderer, and Altar of Dementia. So I hope you enjoyed my very short video on Captain Gathrod. Davy Jones, I really love that deck. So if you like what we're doing here at the Commander's Crypt, please let us know. I really like making these videos. I really love Magic. And we have a saying here at the Commander's Crypt, we don't want to just be a Commander channel. We want to be a Commander community. If you've been here, if you stuck with us this far, please like and subscribe and come on board. Here at the Commander's Crypt, we don't consider subscribers as subscribers. We consider you as friends, and I truly mean that. You'll see when we get the numbers up, we're going to have contests to have people come down here to New Orleans and play with us. And check out all of the tours down here and more content. And I've got a website up that'll be a classifieds, but also a kind of Discord website. So that's it. I'm going to get on out of here. I hope you enjoyed my short video. Please have a wonderful week. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next Commander's Crypt New Orleans.